Yo guys, welcome to the On the Rise podcast, where each week I sit down with a talented rising artist to give you a sneak peek into their life, as well as have them share their inspirations and tips to anyone looking to take their craft to the next level, or simply to get connected to dance music culture. I'm your host Gustav, and you're listening to On the Rise. Yo guys, how's it going? So welcome back to the third episode of On the Rise with me, Gustav, and today we have a special guest, and we have Jonth. He is a electronic dance music producer from Sweden. He's been released on huge labels like Nik Cooper and Illicit, and I'm so excited to have him today. So Jonth, what's up?
What's up? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, dude. So kind of introing you in, so you're from Sweden, right?
That's correct.
Can you talk about where you kind of discovered music from and all your kind of early stages?
Yeah, that's well, not a super interesting story, but I guess I was 11 years old, right? Like, just a little kid wanting to have fun, and I really got into like it was way back. Like I was 11 years old. I'm 22 now, so fucking 11 years ago, dude. And I fucking loved Eurotrance back then.
Oh,
I thought it was a really cool genre. Yeah, like Eurotrance and Eurodance stuff, trance music.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to be like them and just make music like them because, well, I could figure out, even though I was 11 years old, that you made that kind of sound on a computer, right? So I don't know, I just had a look around and I found this DAW, I found FL Studio, which I am still producing on. I think it was FL6 or something that I started out with, and
wow. Again, it's like FL12 now, isn't it? FL12 or 13?
Yeah, FL12. No, actually now they've just released FL20, which is yeah. It's a huge jump from 12 though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but where was I?
Just kind of like releasing, starting on FL6, right, and then at
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was on FL6. I was just really trash when I started out, but that's, I mean,
it's everyone,
that's given, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sweet.
But I don't know. I kind of progressed from there. I worked a lot like creatively. I didn't even think about mixing until like a couple years ago. So yeah.
Everyone kind of gets to that stage where you kind of you have like the creativity flowing, but just, you know. And then you discover what mixing and mastering is, and then it kind of opens up like a completely new door. And mixing and mastering actually takes, I would say, probably more effort than the creativity, because, you know, everyone's creative in their own ways, but mixing and mastering is like kind of like a really technical thing that you really have to sit down and do theory with, right?
Yeah, definitely. One thing that really helped was that I had been working in that DAW for so many years, so I kind of knew the layout and everything, so it got easier for me to learn than I can assume that it would for others. So
yeah, it's good that, you know, FL Studio doesn't really change the kind of layout, so every version is really easy to use from, and you can easily just kind of keep going throughout the years with all their new versions. So yeah, where did you kind of like learn to produce from? Because before, I'm guessing YouTube tutorials and all these kind of different, you know, websites for producing weren't really, I guess, like prominent, you know?
Oh no, they were scarce, but mainly it was like YouTube tutorials from, oh dude, you know how fucking tutorials look back in like 2010, 2009, how they looked on YouTube.
Yeah,
no one had a microphone, everyone was using like text and stuff like that. It was just actually just looking at how people did it, because no one was using a microphone, and if they did, it was just horrible quality. And but yeah, it was mainly like YouTube tutorials. There was no forums on, well, I didn't even have Facebook back then. Was even Facebook a thing back then?
I don't think so. 11 years ago?
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it as well.
Like the group that I grew mostly from was a group that I joined just like 2 years ago or something like that. It was the Future of House on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's what helped me out, like more than the YouTube tutorials has for these couple years.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
And you've learned from, I guess, like friends that you've had, and you just kind of like collaborate in the studio.
Oh, dude, there was like I live in a pretty small town in Sweden. Well, it's not small, it's pretty average, but still kind of small.
Mhm.
And I don't think that there's any other dance producers in my town in particular that
Really?
are like in my I don't want to sound like I'm bigging myself up, but like in at the time in my range of skill
Mhm.
with the
Mhm.
DAW and stuff like that. So and like the age gaps would just be really weird. I had this one guy when I went to school here. He was 15, I think. No, he was 16 and I was 17, I
That's not bad.
think. Yeah, yeah, it's not bad. And he was also a producer. That was one guy. We didn't really like talk about anything else other than music, and
Mhm.
he was better at some stuff. I was better at other stuff, but we didn't really click that much, so
Mhm.
nothing really happened there. But
Well, I was just
um,
gonna kind of intro or just talk about kind of like the music, I guess, production group community in the place that you live. Like, is dance music kind of really popular in Sweden?
absolutely not. It's all like dance hall and moombahton here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh.
Like there's no wonder as to why I don't get any plays. Like now, I mean any shows or any I don't play any concerts or anything like that because I need to get noticed somewhere else than Sweden. And if I would have to play somewhere, I would definitely have to catch a flight because there's almost no way I'll get to play here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's
that
kind of like
sucks.
it's isolated.
Yeah, very, very isolated. And like the music that people like here is not that much different from the rest of Europe, but then again, like the taste in music, if you ask me, is pretty like the general taste in music is pretty AIDS, if you ask me, in Europe. So
Yeah, and how did well, I guess like you found Eurotrance and all that stuff, and I guess it kind of just evolved into more like future house, future bounce music, right? In some kind
Well,
of
the curve is pretty long. It went from Eurotrance to just hands up music to hard style out of
oh
nowhere,
yeah, yeah.
and then
Most people
over
are
to
into hardstyle.
dubstep and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, hardstyle. When hardstyle started being a thing, I was not very old then. I was like 13 or something when I tried to make hardstyle. I was really bad at it as well. But I learned how to make good melodies and stuff like that. So that's where it started out with the melodies that I got.
And then from
Mm.
there, kind of like the hardstyle was popular in can't remember the years, but it was like
2010 or something like
yeah,
that.
2010, 2011, and then it went into like crazy just big room house for I don't know 2013 to 2015 ish,
Yeah, I
the two
was
years.
not that big on like big room music and stuff like that. I was still like hanging out on Monster Cat and just listening to Pegboard Nerds and stuff
Mhm,
like that
mhm.
for ages there, like from 2012 to 2014 or something like that. And then I jumped on the like housey future house train. I was never on that big room train to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, if man, a lot of people seem to just completely just get into big room house, and that was I think like that was the leeway for a lot of people into dance music and dance music culture was tracks like Martin Garrix's Animals and
Mm,
Hardwell's Spaceman, just like all these tracks, they were like they hooked a lot of people onto dance music, and it really, really helped it grow from its earlier stages with hardstyle and all these like underground genres, and now it's good that it's kind of spreading out into different subgenres, and people are discovering more and more than just like the mainstream stuff, and
yeah.
that's what I'm really trying to do is just push people to different genres of electro house and future house and dubstep and chill step and all these
Yeah,
obscure
yeah.
genres that people may not hear typically on the radio, but the production and everything, just the ideas are so creative and up to the levels of the mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
You have a new collab that just came out. It was the Jax Jones Ring reboot, right, with Rude Lies and Tom Wilson.
Yeah, we made that one on the trip. I just got back from that trip actually. Like, wait, what day is it? I got back from that 2 days ago, and we released that. What was it? Saturday, right? No,
Hmm.
Sunday morning. I think we
Oh,
released that.
it was super super new, and I saw you got support from Clark's, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that
How
was
was
awesome.
that?
We just texted him on Facebook and asked him like, "Yo, do you like this track?" And he was like, "Fuck yeah, I like it. I want to play this." So we just sent it over. He didn't even play the finished version. That's the craziest thing.
So you just messaged him on like Facebook and asked him to play? Is that simple?
No, we didn't even ask him to play. Christoph just sent the track, and he was like, "Dude, I want to play this out. I got a show tonight." So
Huh. Wow.
yeah, yeah,
And,
it was crazy.
were you in contact with Clark's like before this?
I think I talked to Clark's like once or twice or something like that. I'm really good friends with Jürgen Debris, though. You know Debris, right? And
Yeah.
he's also really good mates with Clark's. So
Hmm.
like that's the kind of connection that we have, you know.
Hmm.
So
No, that's a really strong connection because Debris he has like a lot of he seems like he has a lot of connections and he's doing
oh
live
yeah, he's
streams
very
and
well connected.
yeah, it's really good connections to have. So I guess like for people who want to get the attention of bigger artists like that, what advice would you give them to kind of reach out? Because I'm
Um,
sure like there's a lot of producers just reaching out to them constantly every day, and maybe you might not get a response, or there's just better ways to reach them, to get your
well, I
music
mean,
across.
it's not really about if you should or if you shouldn't try and reach out. You should always like try and reach out. It's more about like how you talk to artists. Because I know I get a lot of messages, even though I'm not that big. I get a lot of messages with, well, for starters, I have a message in my inbox right now just saying "Hey" from a random guy. I'm not gonna respond to that because I don't know if he's just gonna fucking steal my time
Hmm.
or no. And also, I've gotten messages that looks like fan mails, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Yo, collab, bro." It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't work that way. You gotta treat artists as normal people because that's exactly what we are. And no matter how big an artist grows, he is still just gonna be a human being standing behind those decks, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So just treat a person like a person, right?
Yeah. No, that's definitely, and there's correct ways to go about reaching people instead of just saying collab, bro, because it's turned into a meme pretty much the way
Yeah.
people would interact with each other, and I know that a lot of it has to do with actually having quality production on your side as well, and having a following, having releases, just basically proving to other people that you are, I guess, more or less legit, and you have the skills, and you're worthy of, I guess, like collabing with bigger artists and just spreading your talent like that. Yeah. So, what inspires you kind of on the daily to produce music?
Um, it's been so long, I don't even know, dude. It's like just filling that empty hole in my heart or something like that. Just I don't know. It's my point in life or some edgy shit like that. 'Cause I don't know. If I don't produce music, it's like you're taking away the fucking heroin from an addict, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It, it's I
Just
don't
kind of like a
know. I don't know.
passion,
It's
right?
it's like not even the same thing as when I started out. Because when I started out, it was generally just because like to feed my curiosity, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just hooked on it now. Just making music and watching it grow, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
also like getting in touch with the very successful people. It's I don't know. It's a really nice feeling to know that you actually exist in other people's eyes. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like if you let's say I get a collab with I don't know, if I were to get a collab with Don Diablo or something like that, that
Yeah.
would put me
Yeah.
on the map and people would know that I exist, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cool feeling, you know?
Yeah. Of course, just reaching more people and collabing with huge artists that I'm guessing like have an influence on you, right? And their stories, their music, fuel the passion to create your own music and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So you've gotten quite a bit of support from other artists. Can you just name a few?
Yeah, sure. I got supported by Tiesto a while back when I did that remix for the remix competition with together with Uplink.
Mm-hmm.
what was that track again? Can't Give Up by EDX, and that was together with Usblockslampen on a Tiesto's radio show. What does he call that again?
I think it's called Club Life.
Yeah,
Club Life,
Club
yeah.
Life, definitely, that's the one. Also, I have recently been supported by Tungevagen Raban, and they are pretty big here in Scandinavia. They got like millions of plays on monthly on their Spotify. They actually supported me when they played at the local club over here. And I just messaged them on Facebook and was like, "Yo, I live in the town that you're gonna play in. Do you like this track? Would you play it out?" And they were like, "Yeah, we love it." And then now they wanted me to remix a track of theirs together with Debris. We'll see how that goes though. Like
Wow.
the track is finished and everything like that.
Hmm.
But I don't know how much I am at liberty to say about that. But there's probably a remix coming out for them in the near future.
Wow.
Uh,
Big moves.
And obviously, like Uplink, Jordan J. Since I have, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say a lot there, but I'm in good connections with Jordan J. as well. He's a really nice pal. Rude Lice, of course.
Hmm.
It's a collab that I made together with Rude Lice, the initial one, Never Right, the one that got released on Nik Cooper.
Hmm. Hmm.
And got supported by both Calvo and Juicy M, so that's pretty cool.
Oh wow, Juicy M, the girl producer, right? From
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube.
Well, she's mainly a DJ. I'm not sure if she's if she's got co-producers or what's going on here,
Oh,
but
I think she just got released on, or she got signed to Armada. Armada
yeah,
Records?
exactly. But
Was it?
I know her from earlier. She's mainly like I haven't met her, but I know I've been a fan of hers since like way back since when me and my brother started DJing a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
Uh, and she's a really good DJ. I
Hmm.
have not like had any information on her like just when she started out producing. She just started releasing tracks. Maybe she actually started producing and got really good really fast. That happens to some people. So
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, well, she was the one who had a lot of controversy, right? The no headphones and stuff a couple years ago.
yeah, but that's complete bullshit. Like every DJ who's got enough experience knows that if you have like a pre-made set, if
Hmm.
you know the tracks in the set, then you don't need headphones.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And especially when with these newer generations of CDJs, you don't need to hear the beat matching. You can just look at them to beat match, which is kind of cheating, but you don't really need headphones. So
Yeah, yeah, you don't need the sync, you don't need the headphones. It's just kind of like it comes a lot down to like timing and stuff as well, and like just practicing skills. I remember
yeah,
when I
and
was
she's got really nice sound selection as well.
yeah, yeah, and her mixes are killer on YouTube. They're gaining like millions of views
Hell yeah.
for each video. Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, I'm not sure when she started to produce. It seemed like well, I know she had a label before that she started to sign people to, and then she closed it down or stopped it or something, and then kind of just out of nowhere just kind of started getting releases on Armada. I'm pretty sure.
But I'm just gonna assume that it's pretty normal that when you get into like the music industry in that way that they want you to be an artist, they
Hmm.
at least put you in a room together with a co-producer so that you could just like bounce ideas back and forth, and the
Hmm.
co-producer kind of executes the track, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what happened to Alan Walker, if I'm not wrong. He's got a co-producer that execute his tracks properly. Uh,
Really? Huh.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. That's what I heard, like rumors going around and stuff like that. I am not like 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure that that's what happened with him.
Really? That's interesting because man, I remember listening to Alan Walker like he was getting released on no copyright sounds, I believe.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
NCS, exactly.
yeah, and he was all his promo pictures are him in the studio, and like all his blog
Well,
posts
yeah,
and
yeah, he can
yeah.
definitely produce. I'm not gonna judge that at all. He knows
Hmm.
how to produce, but it's like the execution of the tracks that I feel personally that he was lacking, and I think that the team that he had thought the same. Like he was definitely an icon going out of NCS. I'm not gonna take that away from him. He was
Hmm.
he was
Hmm.
really good at what he was doing. But then, like listening to the tracks that he got released on the major labels now,
Hmm.
they are the same tracks, but they are executed in a different way, and they're like more properly mixed and more properly mastered. Mastering, of course, if you release on a major label, I have released on majors before, even though they got really poorly promoted. Um, they do the mastering. They don't want you to do the mastering most of the time. So,
Mm, okay. So
well,
by execution, you mean like the mixing and mastering, or just like the entire creative
uh,
process?
well, I mean, I guess that you come up with a let's say I come up with a really dope idea, like for a drop or for a verse, or I got this really nice melody going on, and then I draw it out like how I hear it in my head, and then the co-producer kind of like, okay, this is what the listeners would like or
Mm-hmm.
would prefer, so they just work together to make it work.
Oh, okay. So they have someone who's more or less like really well versed in what the mainstream wants, and they kind of like alter the artist's track to kind of fit the mainstream.
Yeah, well, that's my assumption. I'm no expert. I've never had a co-producer, so
And you think
but that's my assumption.
and you think he got co-produced when he was on NCS or just when he went mainstream?
Oh no, when he went mainstream
Mm-hmm.
on NCS, when he got these first like millions of views, that was all him,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Interesting. Yeah, cause well, he started to he started to blow up after I think it was Faded. His one
Yeah,
track,
Faded.
Faded, right? And that
No,
went.
it was just called Fade, right?
Oh, okay, okay. It was called Fade, and
Yeah.
then I guess they changed it to Faded, maybe more co-producing. Changed the
Yeah.
name for to fit mainstream, and then yeah, he went big on the radio, not even that long ago.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, and I actually saw him live. He was all right. He played a lot of like future bounce, which is super super sick. I was just thinking he was gonna play like the slow, faded usual sound like 110 BPM. I'm pretty sure it is, or
Yeah. Oh no. Like I've seen from his live sets on Tomorrowland, he
mhm,
supports a lot of like uh I wouldn't call it smaller artists, but like he supports a lot of upcoming artists on in his live sets. I have lots of respect for that guy because
mhm.
he wants other people to kind of shine with him as well.
Yeah,
Like, well, also one of my assumptions because he actually supports artists that are, yeah, I would say up and coming, you know.
hmm hmm and a lot from the future of house and just kind of like the future house scene, which I mean, I give him a lot of respect for that as well because you know there's so much talent in all these groups and a lot of talented producers rising and giving exposure like that from a big name like Alan Walker. It means a lot to a lot of people and
Yeah.
it's really good promotion for them.
Hmm.
But yeah, I saw him live like I think last year. And I had no idea. Like I was like Alan Walker's on the lineup. Like this guy's on NCS, and now he's like mainstream on main stage at this festival. It's kind of crazy for me, and I didn't know what to expect. And then he started playing like Future Bounce, and I just went absolutely nuts in the crowd for that. Uh,
Yeah.
all the DJs that are mostly on festivals like on these lineups are DJ Snake, uh, a lot of kind of like mainstream guys, and then they have a lot of rising artists for like dubstep now, like Jaws, uh, Illenium, like all these future bass. Like I'm not seeing a lot of future house, future housey,
Mm.
artists up there. Chami can be an exception, but Chami kind of plays his own Chami style.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think that I think that future house and future bounce and those kind of genres are bigger, more towards Asia, because
um,
from what I heard from Debris is that he's playing a lot in Asia. He did like a while back at least, like he had his Asia tour, or
mhm.
I think he had his Asia tour. I don't recall properly though.
But yeah, but it definitely seems like I guess like even not even just future house, but electronic dance music in general is just blowing up in Asia currently. Like
Oh yeah,
mega clubs are being built, and I think Martin Garrix, the number one DJ, was closing out New Year's Eve for like the past 2 years in Asia,
yeah.
uh, Jakarta or some other place, Dubai. Man, a lot of countries are getting like these mega clubs now.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but the
that's
thing is,
sick.
what I've heard from there is like it's not regulated like the club and the nightlife, so there's no like age limits to go into clubs, and like you can literally go when you're like 12 to like I don't know, a
Oh
club show.
shit.
Yeah, they have it, and then for foreigners that like visit China, like it literally does not matter. You don't have to pay, you don't have to do anything. So there's kind of like a lot of weird stigma with the club scene right now in Asia, but I mean it's blowing up, and a lot of festivals are popping up. I know Ultra Music Festivals is opening a lot of new festivals there. Ultra Korea, which I was super surprised about, started, and then Ultra Japan. I think that's it so far, or maybe a couple more. Definitely in Thailand and like Bali and stuff. So
That's
that's
crazy. I would
yeah.
love to get a show in Asia somewhere because yeah, I heard the crowd just goes completely mental
Hmm.
over there. So
What do you think is like the future for, I guess, like future house music?
I don't really know. I think it's ironic that you call it future house music because it's not really that future anymore. It's pretty standard
Mm-hmm.
these days. So I don't really know. The thing with future house music is that it does not sound the same now as it did a couple of years ago.
Oh, definitely
Uh,
not. Yeah.
and like, and you if you take that into reference with the like big room, big room is still big room
Mm-hmm.
how it is now
Mm-hmm.
compared to how it was a couple of years ago. Even though it evolved, you can still clearly hear that it is big room, right?
Yeah.
But future house music just continues to evolve. Same with future bounce music, which is kind of weird to me. I wouldn't even call it future bounce music these days, uh,
It's
because
kind of
it's
it's
evolved
all
so
gotten like
much.
really mashed up all together and like intertwined, and I guess it's like still kind of finding its path in the subgenre world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I really hope it kind of like blows up in the next couple of years, just as Big Room did, or actually after Big Room, it was like bass house music. It was like Jaws and uh, F Word,
Oh
some other
yeah.
guys. Yeah, that was pretty big for like a couple of months, and then it went away, and then Future Bass came in, and then that was really pop. Do you remember like all these artists started to like hop on the I guess like future bass kind of wagon. I think it was like one of the big ones was like Rehab. Man, some other ones they all
Yeah,
literally
that
changed
was that
from.
was right after Martin Garrix released "In the Name of Love." Then everyone
Hmm.
just started doing it
Hmm.
because he's like fucking pioneering every genre these days. So
Yeah, no, it's crazy, but yeah, I mean I don't know how do you feel about artists just kind of throwing away their genre and going for something that's mainstream, just I guess just because it is mainstream. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's just following trends, right? People do
Mhm.
that all the time. It's not selling out, in my opinion.
Mhm.
If uh, if they like that kind of music, then I don't get what the problem would be in like other people's eyes. They might say that they're selling out, but I highly doubt it. I mean, I started hopping on to the pop wagon now
Mhm.
with like future bass and tropical pop kind of music. With yeah, you can hear that from On My Way, the track that I released on Licit.
Mhm.
That's a pop track, and I really enjoy making it. So I don't see why it would be like a bad thing for other people doing the same. Like if
Mhm.
they actually like that kind of music.
Yeah, of course. People changed, like your taste changed in music, because I can remember like the music that I listened to 8 years ago or 7 years ago is not the music that I listen to now, and
Hmm.
yeah, everything's constantly evolving. You have to keep evolving yourself and yourself as like a producer and a musician and artist, and more or less adapt and predict what the future is going to be like, so you can build towards that. And
Yeah. I mean, I for one, I'm starting to get really tired of just producing future bounce, to be honest. So you'll probably see me like switching over to another style in the near future. If you, for instance, have a look at that Rosenfeld remix I did, it doesn't have that many plays on SoundCloud. Hopefully, I'll that track will win. I'm just holding my fingers crossed for that. But you can hear in that track that it's nothing like I've ever done before
mhm.
because I'm trying to experiment a little bit now with different styles. So.
Yeah, and it's good for up and coming and rising producers to really, I guess, play around with the genres that they do because they never know. I know one Melbourne bounce producer. He's in the future house scene now. I forget his name, but he was basically producing Melbourne bounce, and people loved him. And he was getting released on Nik Cooper and all these labels. And
Oh, you're
then
talking about Dirty Palm, aren't you?
Dirty Palm, yes. And he switched to Future House, and now he's like absolutely killing it.
Oh yeah.
If he kept producing Melbourne Bounce, like I don't think he would have gotten that much like success as he would have with producing like another genre.
Yeah, yeah. He is such a lad,
You,
that guy. And I really like that he managed to take that step from Melbourne Bounce and still maintain his style. That was
mhm.
really cool. Like when he released that first track. I don't know which one it was, if it was Crew or if there was a couple tracks before that where he started doing like Future Bounce. I just completely went off on that first track.
Yeah, dude, I was so surprised like when he released that. I think it was like these smaller like um music promotion labels and channels on YouTube and stuff, and they were releasing like the typical, the future of house lineup, illicit lineup and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden Dirty Palm is on there, and I was just kind of like, what? Like really really surprised, and then I listened to it, and it was crazy good, and yeah, I mean, good for him for changing up his genre and stuff, and just kind of experimenting, and yeah, like as you were saying, you're more experimenting with pop genres and stuff currently, and trying to find your sound,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just well, not really trying to find my sound. I know pretty well like what my sound is. It's originated well, originated is probably not the word, but it's like mainly in how I make my melodies.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with melodies is that you can apply melodies to pretty much any genre.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I don't know, messing around a little bit with different sounds, different styles of like sound design and stuff like that, mainly. Maybe yeah, a couple pop tracks here and there. I'm currently trying to get on Stamped with a friend of mine. We'll see how that goes.
Mm.
We got
That
it's we got a pretty bright light there though, so hopefully that's gonna work out.
that was Martin Garrix's label, right?
Yeah, that's Martin Garrix's label. Yeah.
That was crazy because he got sued by Spinning and then started his own label.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was
Man,
so crazy.
nuts. But the releases on Stamped are getting like really really popular, and there was one new one that I really like. It was by Todd Helder. I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh yeah, I heard that one. It was
Yeah.
sick.
Oh man. I mean the drop's kind of weird, but the break and everything in between is just like amazing.
Oh
So,
yeah.
dude, I would love to see you on Stamped Records. I think I definitely believe that you can make it, and that'd be a huge step in just I guess your music career and stuff. Getting supported.
Hell yeah, man.
It
Fingers
it
crossed.
it is still kind of like a small label. Like, would you compare it to something as Spinning Records or like another? Because it seems to be like it seems kind of to be like underground, but it's. Do you think it's like undervalued as a label? It's not really mainstream.
I feel like it's kind of underappreciated, yeah, but like just looking at the different releases that Martin had on his label, they are all pretty different from each other.
Hmm.
So I guess that he's trying to find that one sound that will never fail, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Moving on to like some other questions, just about generally like your music and style. Like, what kind of music do you listen to in your off time? Is it still like future housey, that music, or do you have like some niche music that you listen to?
Nah, it's pretty weird actually, because the main reason why I ever listen to music is to analyze music, like what
Hmm.
makes this track good. So even if I'm playing it casually, if I play a song that I like casually, it could be any genre at all, to be honest, then I'm just trying to listen to that track. Okay, why is this track good? So I can implement that kind of thing into my productions.
Hmm.
Uh, but I don't know. Yeah, mainly I guess it's dance music. I listen to a little bit of Lemaitre here and there as well.
Hmm.
They're really good. It's nothing special actually. It's mainly like dance music. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it makes
It's
sense.
yeah.
Analyzing dance music is once you're a producer. The weird thing that I've heard around people and that I've like experienced myself is that you start to break down tracks like when you're just listening to them. Just like you can listen to every like distinct element like
Oh yeah.
in the track.
I
Is
mean,
that
and you
happening to you?
can't stop doing it either. That's the sad part. So it feels like you're working even when you're trying to have a good time with music, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Some use music to relax, others just, can't snap out of like working on music and yeah, it's no, it's kind of like a phenomenon for only music producers would understand.
Yeah, definitely.
For people that are just starting out in producing, like more or less beginners, people who want to get into producing, who don't know where to start, what kind of tips would you give them to where to look to produce, where to get support from, those sorts of things.
First of all, you shouldn't if you're just starting out, I don't think that you should think about like trying to get support or trying to play your music out or stuff like that. Sure, you could show it to your friends, but they're always going to say it's going to suck in the beginning. So, but mainly, I think you should just try and perfect your music. Just give it a couple years. It always takes years. You can never get that nailed in just a couple months. So, like, well, first of all, you gotta have fun, but still, just try and perfect your production to the point where you feel like, okay, yeah, this could actually get played out, and then try and get feedback from other producers and make sure that you actually listen to their feedback and don't just rub it off and they're like and be like, no, that's just subjective, because I know a lot of people who does that when they ask me for feedback.
Hmm.
Yeah, like don't focus on support and stuff like that. You don't need that in the beginning. You need to get good.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
no. Yeah, and a lot of producers seem to be doing. I guess it's not a mistake. It's just kind of like, uh, just seeking support a little bit too early, and a lot of them just kind of, even I get a lot of music sent to me that's just kind of not at that level, and the producers that I do end up supporting and all these things I find myself, right. If you build something and you create music that's really good, people will automatically just kind of like naturally find you, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Well, of course you need to be releasing in the right places,
Hmm.
but in the end, those there are people who actually just scour the World Wide Web to find that one artist that they really like. So, I mean, I guess it happens, but mainly you need to release on labels with good promotion
Hmm.
to get out there.
And for looking for, I guess, places to get feedback from, where would you recommend like the best places are?
Uh, I would say join the Future of House, like that Facebook group. It's done so much for me. There's a lot of successful producers in there, like really successful producers
Hmm.
in that group,
Hmm.
and just I don't know, have a look around and like listen to other people's music, try and give them feedback, start conversations with people, just start growing a reputation in different Facebook groups and stuff like that. And then you'll get a reputation with the labels in the end. And once you have the reputation with the labels, you can release on different labels, which in turn is going to give you reputation with the listeners, which are
Hmm.
mainly going to be producers in the beginning. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but then after a while, you actually get listeners who actually just listen to your music because they enjoy the music and not like our producers themselves, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Making a name for yourself, and I guess in the beginning, of course, like you said, the most of your support will be producers, but then if you get the support of people who have like a larger following, they might repost it or like it, right? And then when they have actual fans, those actual fans will check out your music, and um, in the end, like you'll get more organic listeners, I guess, real
Yeah.
life people, not producers.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that producers aren't real life people, just
Yeah,
people who
yeah,
might.
but everyone knows what you mean anyway. So
Mhm.
I'm guessing that everyone feels the same about that. That their fan base is just consisting of other producers. So
Yeah, just to plug the future of house again, like I've met a ton of people and just friends in general through the group. So it's a great place to make connections. And I was recently in Europe and I met up with a whole bunch of people that I met from the future of house. So it's a crazy world that you can get into, and a really really great community. So for people who are listening, where can they find you and your music, and where are you located usually, like on social media?
well, Spotify, of course. Jonth on Spotify. You have Jonth on SoundCloud. Um, if you look me up on YouTube, you'll probably find a bunch of links as well. I mostly get all of my tracks released on Illumi. Illumi Music is a promotional like
Yeah,
site on
yeah.
on YouTube. So, but yeah, like just look me up and you'll probably find me, I guess.
Sweet. So I'll leave all of Jonth's music down in the description, all of his links to all of his social media sites, so you guys can check it out. Thank you guys so much for listening to the third episode of On the Rise. Make sure you guys tune in for next week's episode, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
See ya.